Welcome back. We had Jared Brewer in from Stanford Hearing. May, boy, you can't get here quick enough, is actually Hearing Month, and they've got all kinds of opportunities for you. They've done a lot of the research, and they want to get you in to be tested. You never know when it might be your hearing that's causing you not to be able to hear what you should be. And people look at you like, what's wrong with you? Hearing, pretty important. Our advice to you is to call the people that have been voted Sioux Falls Best Hearing Aid Service for 12, 14, maybe 16 years in a row. Stanford Hearing. That's Sanford plus a T, Stanford Hearing. Give them a call. Again, Hearing Month is May, and we'll have Jared back to tell you even more about it. Exciting things. The big thing is take care of yours. Ron Nelson with us this morning. Nice to see you.
Good to be seen, Bill. I just come in just to see what tie or shirt or fashion combination you're wearing today. So today we'd call this, what, robin egg blue with a little Masters green?
It's got all of the things like Born to Golf, all the things about golf, hole-in-one, things that fit golf, and I wear it once a year on the Masters Friday.
Okay.
So
have you ever been?
No.
Okay.
No. I have had a lot of my TV people that have gone, but I never got to go.
I was surprised to see the Osteds in the studio. I'm like, both of you are here. Neither one of you are in Augusta. That was a surprise.
Well, it is, except that Dave was gone to the Middle East
right,
for a couple of weeks,
yeah.
And they're back, and they're talking, and they're now promoting. They went over 1,000 fittings, which is a lot. Took them until July or so of last year.
Still working on me. The fitter said I'm one of the tough ones. Got too many cricks and creeks in my infrastructure, I think. Something like that.
Well, Ron Nelson does commercial real estate, does it very well. He's been working with us 4 or 5 years. Every Friday we talk, and you even throw in the Vegas word this time because that's not far away.
Well, it's not. I didn't catch all of Jody's program this morning. She starts talking about it. We haven't talked. I don't know if she's going this
morning.
Year.
No, she didn't.
Yeah. But we talk, every year, the pilgrimage, as we call it, to Vegas in May. It's always the weekend before Memorial Weekend, or leading up to Memorial Day weekend. It's the ICSC, which is the acronym for the International Council of Shopping Centers, and it's the largest retail and really real estate convention in the world, held every spring out in Vegas. And in that weekend I was talking about, that week leading up to the Memorial Weekend, held out in Vegas. They've dubbed it a new name last few years called Recon, Real Estate Conference or something, I guess it stands for. It's hard to keep up on all the acronyms that are going on. But, we're going out there this year again, and just kind of, it's always interesting to kind of get sort of updated on we'll call it the bellwethers of the real estate industry. Certainly this year, big box is going to be talked about a lot. Kind of the whole, not just, the Shopko's, Kmart's of the world, but the Sears, Yonkers, Penny's. Thankfully our Penny's is still open. But, my point, being the enclosed mall, big box vacancies, as well as, kind of the freestanders, your Shopko, Kmart's type thing. And we're seeing a changing landscape, all of those aren't being backfilled always with retail. Now in Sioux Falls, we had our West 12th Street Kmart filled in with the Stan Houston equipment, which is really a great reuse for that. But we've got 2 Shopkos and another Kmart to go. That's not counting the mall. And so we're going to see some creativity going on in the reuse of big boxes, and certainly that'll be talked about in Vegas.
So with that language being a little different, if you had somebody that you were talking to as a client, what would you tell them about Sioux Falls as far as the industry being able to change on a dime?
Well, certainly our industry, our city, I should say, has been resilient in the past. We're right in the thick of it now, when we've had, quite the changes as we've had in just the department store industry in general. And, if you call or put a Kmart Shopko in that category, certainly there's some, like I said, some new challenges going on. Sioux Falls has done pretty well. The Sears store is right now kind of being reused as a Camping World outlet. I don't really know the long-term, if that's a long-term plan there. Certainly not a bad, short-term plan. And again, I just have not been updated on to the latest. But, the Toys R Us was repurposed as the Scandia furniture store. Great use. So, I think one of the messages about Sioux Falls is just, man, look how resilient we are. The Kmart got reused on West 12th Street for a great local business that's, been in town for a number of years, Stan Houston. And, actually, the Shopko on the east side has been sold, is my understanding. I'm just kind of learning news about that. So I don't really know all the details. But, yeah, resilience is certainly one of the things that, goes with our city. And it just seems like, for, the downturns that happen, we swing back up pretty quick, so let's just hope that continues. But again, that's what me and several of, I'm sure, local folks, haven't talked to all of my friends locally that usually go, but, we usually have 5 or 6 that get out there this year. We'll be talking about some new projects. Should I touch on a couple of the projects?
You've got time. Do it.
East side, there's a new center going up, kind of a smaller center at the very, talking Dolly Farm Village now, at the very north end of that center. Currently, it stops at PetSmart, but there's some ground there. And so filling in kind of that remaining piece of ground will be an Ulta, which is a, cosmetics, beauty products, kind of the, I don't know if you'd call it category killer, but certainly, one of the leaders in that category. And they do a nice, it's a fancy cosmetics counter, but, kind of in a larger scale that, does a nice job. You look like you're confused, Bill. You don't go there a lot to Ulta,
no,
I take it?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm pretty much Hartford, so I wouldn't go a lot to the east side, but I would to the Van Buskirk stuff that is over there, which is far different than the mall. And as you look at those two, one east, one west, you wonder about what they're doing there with those kind of stores, if they are now more attractive in 2019 than malls are to the people that have been going there for years.
Well, so it seems, malls are going to stay with us, and certainly the business model of a mall still makes sense, especially in our climate where, it's an enclosed retail environment. You get to the mall on, practically any given day, and it's hard to find, a spot to park within 50 parking spaces of the door. So, while it's frustrating when it's cold to have to walk that far, if you think about it, it's really a good sign that, the mall's still being supported and all that. So, the mall animal, if you will still be here. Some of them won't. There's towns that are, too many malls. Years ago, our Western Mall in Sioux Falls, the term, and it's kind of getting to be an older term, but the term being used a lot is demalling, where they'll actually kind of change the characteristics and not necessarily call it an enclosed mall, because in many parts of cities or so forth, there just isn't demand for that. But our Empire Mall will remain viable. It's going to evolve, and adapt with the changes and the preferences to a Lake Lorraine center where you see the cluster of big boxes, the kind of a urban, not urban center environment isn't the right choice of terms, but just, more of that pedestrian friendly type thing is certainly where the energy seems to be going, where the interest seems to be going, right now. But we're in an evolutionary state, and the enclosed mall is, going to continue on. But like I was mentioning, there's that Ulta shop on the east side with the Dolly Village. There's some shops there that are going to be available for lease. We'll be talking about that in Vegas. Lake Lorraine hasn't been as in the news lately this year. Last couple of years it's been huge in the news. But, they're doing the shops at Lake Lorraine's, and they've got some vacancies still in there that will be on the floors in Vegas promoting. Certainly right in front of the mall, the former Sioux Falls Ford site, Empire Place. That's going to be talked about a lot. We talked a couple weeks ago about Westtown Marketplace 41st and Ellis. You know, so there's just different pockets now throughout the city that have, you know, local excitement, but some national relevance as well that we'll be talking about in Vegas while we're out there in about a month.
Demographics that will go to go to a Lake Lorraine versus the mall. The younger people, you think, will wind up going where? Any place they can?
You know, it's interesting, you know, and you do talk to the younger people and the millennials and so forth. They're the ones that probably are, you know, making the moves faster, you know. So I wouldn't say that the enclosed traditional mall as we know it is out of favor with the millennials, but I would say it's more out of favor with them, perhaps. And I'm not an expert on the category. It's always fun. I like to come into the studio just to see what barbs you're going to catch me with off unexpectedly. But no, I mean that does seem, you know, to be trends, and you know, we'll see. A couple new deals that
we should mention. About. Ron Nelson is with us.
Yeah.
How do they find you?
We're Nelson Commercial Real Estate on the web.
I keep forgetting.
For short.
Don't mean
commercial.
To.
No, that's fine.
But as you were saying before, so rudely interrupted.
Well, you know, we were talking about 41st Street, and there's some vacancy on 41st Street, and people say, "Oh, is the 41st as we know it changing?" You know, the answer is yes, it's changing, but you know, still very viable. I think a couple of weeks ago I was talking about, you know, certainly at 41st and Ellis Road, there's a new anchor store that's kind of kicking off the Westtown Marketplace. We'll announce the name here as soon as we're able, but I just got a lease signed this week on the former Pawn America, which is on 41st Street, about a block east of Louise, for a national retailer, again, name which can't be announced. One I can announce, Plaza 41. We've had a vacancy there between Joann Fabrics and Tuesday Morning. This is in the Pizza Ranch Mall. And we are moving Dreamers Outlet, which is a kind of a creative mattress store. They've been on Grange in kind of a what you'd certainly call a non-traditional retail location, kind of as you go south on Grange past Costco and around the corner, like toward Acura, Spencer Furniture, in a little building there kind of by where United Rentals used to be, was this business called Dreamers Outlet. I wasn't initially for sure even what the name meant, but, you know, it's been pardon the pun, a sleepy little mattress store. But they're just going to move and do more of a mainstream location. So we're real excited for them. They've done really well in their kind of sleepy location. So when they get a very high-profile location like this will be, we're excited to, see how they're going to do. And they're going to be opening probably in the next 30 days at Plaza 41.
The other thing that you talk about is often when you go to a Vegas that you'll wind up talking Sioux Falls and Fargo together. You'll talk about some of those. Will that be the case this year, or has that kind of changed?
Oh, no, it's always the case. And in addition to Fargo, you know, it's Grand Forks, it's Bismarck, even Minot. Why not? Sometimes. But, you know, that extends into Mankato, even Des Moines. You know, we work on a regional basis, and, you know, oftentimes folks that are looking to expand in our town are looking to expand in those markets as well. Rapid City, you know, I'd add to that certainly our other cities in our state, because the Dakotas is a remote area, and so certainly a lot of the reps that have territories looking for sites in our area don't know much about it. So, you know, we're here to help, and so we do that certainly on a regional basis.
He's Ron Nelson. How do they find you?
Again, Nelson Commercial Real Estate, on the web for short, ncommercial.com.
Appreciate the visit, and we'll talk again next week. I'll work on what I'm going to talk to you about. I'll have to do a little homework. Ron, appreciate the visit.
Thanks, Phil.